everyone. Welcome back to New York Wedding Jam, the podcast for modern couples. I am your host, Martine joined today by my co-host, Jason Alicia. Jason, how's it going?
I'm doing very well. I'm in my casual sports t-shirt. I just came back from the swimming pool in my town, and I am refreshed during this heat wave. How's it going by you?
It's going all right. I am. If you can see me today, you see I've got my little head covering on. I am in need of some hair care, but that's not going to happen today. And so we're just going to rock it out like this. Today we are also joined by the fabulous Daniella VillaRamos, who is from Once Upon a Vow. Daniella, thank you so much for joining us, Dani. It's so good to see you.
It's amazing to see you, and I'm so excited to be part of this podcast. Thank you so much for having me.
I once we started like on air live, I saw the look on your face, Dani. You were like so excited when Martine was doing her intro. And I'm so glad that you got to see it now because our intro was, well, Martine always does a good intro, but our intro game was...
I love our intros.
It's amazing.
Even the Jason style intros have been fantastic.
My intros lately have been very good, but you look so excited, Dani. So...
You'll get to know me and you'll get to know how expressive I am. There's a term in Spanish, it's called muecuda, which basically means like someone who makes like a lot of facial expressions, and this is just like familial at this point. So you'll see lots of faces from me.
Okay.
So Dani, thanks so much again for joining us today. Dani is joining us from Once Upon a Vow, which is a non-traditional officiant service. So Dani, can you just tell us a little bit more about what you do and what do you mean by non-traditional?
Oh, yes. Well, my sibling and I, Karla, we personalize wedding ceremonies so that they reflect every couple's story and journey. And what is a non-traditional? Yeah, I think when most people think about like non-traditional ceremonies or non-traditional officiants, they are really thinking of like a non-religious ceremony, a non-boring officiant, a non-patriarchal officiant. So I think what they're looking for is someone to personalize the wedding ceremony, which is exactly what we do, and someone to really get to the core of who they are as individuals and as a couple. And that's really where we, thrive. We love getting to know every couple and their story and their journey and their quirks and all the things that make them so uniquely who they are. And I think that's why we love what we do, because we just are romantics at heart and really just enjoy getting to tell these beautiful stories during a beautiful, pivotal moment in their lives.
I have a question. I wanted to just jump in before Martine jumps in. I wanted to beat her to the punch. Tell me about how this works. You personalize your ceremonies and your officiant duties for the couple. You get to know them. Tell me how that process works. Tell me how you learn all of the intimate details from a couple.
So we pretty much have like a straightforward approach to getting to know our couples. The first half of what we do is we send them a love story questionnaire. So they fill out kind of like all of those intimate details themselves. We recommend that they have like a cute little date night so they can get nostalgic about their journey from beginning to, the altar. So they'll tell us a little bit about, how they first got together, how the relationship evolved, when they realized that they fell in love, the things they like to do together. And then from there, we schedule 2 90-minute video sessions where we dive into their ceremony vision. So that's kind of where we get a sense of, what they want to include in their wedding ceremony, whether they're going to share their own personal vows, or if they want to include any rituals or include their community in any way. And then from there, we dive into kind of like the specifics of their story, of their journey, their quirks, their values, and really get to know them like on an individual level and as a team. So it's like you said, it's very, very intimate approach. And this really gives us kind of all of the details and all the information that we need in order to inspire us to write a ceremony that is very true to who they are and what matters to them.
Yeah, that's cool. I participate in a similar process with my clients where we have some part questionnaire, but also reviewing those questions and diving deeper into the couples. So a lot of the same questions: how'd you meet? When did you know that they were the one? And as well as other questions about their leisure activities and things like that, and things they like to do for fun and some of their values.
Yeah.
But yeah, a very similar process, very personal. But I'm not officiating, but knowing a lot of these details is very important to help me
It
craft a
is.
film that speaks to them specifically and not just a generic wedding film. So I like that process that you have.
Yeah, it sounds very similar. I think it's really key for the couple to be comfortable with you because we are in a very intimate role with them, right? Like all three of us in our professions, like we have to know kind of the ins and outs of their relationship, of their partnership. We work with them very closely. So I think it's important for them to feel comfortable with us and for us to really deliver like the high quality work that they're expecting on their wedding day.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, like, for myself, like, one of the things that's really important, before I'm even when I'm meeting with my couples is like I have to understand the story. So, for example, I had somebody call me recently, and they're coming from two different cultural backgrounds and just trying to marry up these two things. Meanwhile, like, she was very much like, frankly, if it were left up to me, I would go to the justice of the peace and call it good. But, family and we're trying to make everybody happy with things. So understanding like those dynamics really helps guide the decisions that I'm going to be providing and like the way that I'm helping them navigate this whole wedding world. Dani, one of the things that I love about working with you is how personal you do make the ceremonies and how happy everybody is afterwards. And like I've always heard the great feedback. What is kind of one of your favorite parts about the process? Like how did you get so good, right, Dani, about
Oh,
like making sure that we're telling a story that reflects this couple's love so much?
oh, that's like a few questions. So let's see. One, I love getting to know. So I have like two favorite parts, right? One is like pre-wedding, and one is during the wedding. So before the wedding, I love all the getting to know you stuff. Like I'm nosy by nature, and I am a romantic at heart. So for me, it's like I'm getting to binge, sort of say, like my own little personal like romance comedy or dramedy or whatever. And I'm getting to like hear like all of like the juicy details of these couples' love stories, and it's really just fun to it's fun to get to meet new people, but also get to know them like really quickly at their core. So that's pretty amazing, just like that first part before the wedding. And also being able to like connect with them in different ways, right? Because I feel like a lot of times couples will really help me by offering some insight in their relationship, and I can bring it to my own, which I think is kind of amazing. So that's one of my favorite parts. But on the wedding day, I truly believe that I have like the best seat in the house because I am the one that gets to witness kind of those little moments that maybe like people who are sitting, like their loved ones are like too far away to see. But I get to see like the tearing up, and I get to see like their, the little kiss here and there. I get to hear like the whispered I love yous and like you're beautifuls, like it's those are those little magic moments that I feel really privy to. And Jason, you probably get to hear that as well because like you mic them up and stuff, right? Like um I never thought about that actually, but
So yeah, so it's interesting you were mentioning that. I hear and see all of those little things after the fact. So I'm not experiencing it live the way you are, but I have cameras with zoom lenses like really zoomed into partner one's face and partner two's face, and
yeah.
as they face each other, and usually there's a mic on you, there's a mic on the groom, and maybe another mic somewhere. So everything is auditorily recorded. So I'm hearing the whispers, I'm seeing the really intense looks on their faces, but a few days later, not as it's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah. It's really special. Like it's just incredibly special to kind of just like live in that moment and to see it happen like right before your eyes and to just know that they're hearing back their own words that they've shared with you. Just kind of put together in a way that is a little bit more like maybe seamless. Um, So yeah, it's all those little things that I think are my favorite part of doing this, really important role as a wedding officiant. As far as how did I get so good at this, thank you so much. Hair toss. Uh, I think like a lot of I
Hair
think a lot of
toss.
practice. Hair toss. My husband grew out his hair recently, so that's like literally all he does is like toss.
I wish I could do that. I wish I
I
cannot.
mean, is it,
You can just
neither
do it
can I.
symbolically.
You know
Yeah,
what, Martine?
just to
Martine
pretend.
and I always joke. I'm gonna be honest. Martine and I always joke about changing our outfits so that the
We
audience
do.
doesn't think that we're like bums or homeless people that wear the same things over and over again. But I may have to start wearing a wig so that I can
So you
flip.
can do the hair toss.
I can flip my hair when Martine says something really funny. I can just be like,
Oh my God. Yes, you should. I am 100% down.
I would pay for that. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, like
definitely. I want to see
I'm
it.
here for it. I'm here for it, Jason.
Yes, yes. I don't know. To get back to your question, Martine, I think it's just practice, honestly. Um, I take a long time writing the ceremony, reading it out loud, kind of just practicing like where I want to make those inflection points, those pauses, giving space and time for the ceremony to like breathe so that like guests can have a reaction. And also like on the day, kind of allowing them the space to have those, genuine reactions. I think that's really important. And
so.
yeah,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it
no,
sounds. I was going to ask a question, but I also have a comment.
yeah.
The question first is, how long does this process take to kind of digest the couple's words and then kind of write your script? And two, here's the comment. Like, it sounds an awful lot like a performance, like you are an actor. I used to take comedy, I used to do stand up comedy. And so I'm listening to you talk about like pausing and inflection points in your voice and waiting for the crowd to respond, right? And so different things like that. So tell me about that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And as soon as you said it, I was like, but I am not an actor. Like, I am not. I love theater though. I do love theater. I love Broadway. Like I told you, like I'm a romantic at heart. So I am like there for like all of those books and the shows and the movies. But also I really wanted to show up for my couples in a way that they'll look back on and be like, this is a core memory and I loved everything I felt during the ceremony. And I think to your point, it's not just the wedding isn't just for the couple, it's also for all of their loved ones. It's also just the time and the space for their family and their chosen family to kind of really just show up for them and to cheer them on and to be able to connect to that moment in time, right? Because everyone's gathering together for this beautiful couple that's choosing to take this next step together. Um, so I think I had to learn over the years when to pause, when to have these inflection points, when I want to like, hit like that funny moment in their story, or when I want to like, be a little dramatic for effect, when this other like twist happened in their journey together, right? I think that took me like a couple of years to like really fine tune. And like I just keep fine tuning it, right? Like because I'm constantly evolving, and I'm meeting a bunch of different couples who have so many like varied stories, but they're also similar to me or to like someone I know or to, like a couple I've married in the past, and it really just shows me how connected we all are, just as like in our humanity, like how similar we all are. Like we all want to be loved and respected, and we all want to like share our lives with the people that we care about. And I think it's just like the roles that we have are really pivotal for the beautiful memories that they'll hold on to for a lifetime, especially if we do it well, right?
Yeah.
100%. So Dani, like how long typically from start to finish
Oh,
does
yes.
it take to like plan this process?
So because we have like those two 90-minute sessions, That's like 3 hours of getting to know them ish, right? And then from there, I have, like you said, I have to digest all that information and get to writing. And so I like to give myself a week to like start the ceremony, edit the ceremony, leave it, come back to it. So maybe in that time, I'll spend like 8 to 12 hours, like sitting there, rereading my notes and writing the ceremony. It really depends from couple to couple, but, and like also depending on like what rituals they want to include, if they want to include rituals, if they are a multicultural couple, um, and, you know, if they want to include readings, and if I'm gonna, you know, send some recommendations their way. Like these are all things that I'll do beforehand so that I can get a really good idea of where I'll place those readings, how I'll structure their ceremony so that it flows pretty seamlessly from start to finish.
Got it. Got it. You know, I don't think people give enough credit to how much time that might actually take to get a ceremony that will truly mean something to them later. You know, I spend a lot of times with couples who like focus on everything but the officiant, which always makes me
It's
just a
true.
little sad, right? Like
It
because
is.
it's like
It does.
it's just this sort of like the reason for being, right? Like this is the thing that we're here for,
Thank
and
you.
like sometimes. Sometimes people like try and take shortcuts on it, but one of the things that I love is just like when you actually do get to hear the details, or it is a very personalized ceremony, so that you get that experience of not just, hey, we're here and we're doing the paperwork, right, but we're actually getting a story that is meaningful to somebody. And then, you know, we've got people like Jason capturing it, so I know we all play a part, but just watching the whole thing to come together is like, for me, one of the beautiful pieces, right? Like that ultimately this thing gets a story, gets a day, a moment in time that they really can truly remember and cherish.
Exactly.
So I feel like that's so important, and it gets skipped a lot.
It does. And it, you know, you as a wedding planner like really puts like the weight of that, the importance of what we do like out there for couples to really, you know, prioritize, hopefully, because it's
Yeah.
true.
Dani, who tends to be your target audience? Who are the types of couples that seem to gravitate to you or that you like working with the most? Can you tell me about who your people are?
Oh my goodness, yes. They're mostly like progressive couples. They're couples who love to like travel and have adventures, and they're foodies. Oh, they're like couples who are students of life. You know, they're ones who are always striving to grow and to evolve and to be the like a better version of themselves. They are cycle healers, right? They're breaking like generational, you know, cycles of trauma. They are really trying to do better as a unit. And these are like beautiful souls that I feel so fortunate to get to marry, because I've noticed over the years that like I'm seeing like healing in relationships and marriage. There's a lot less toxicity that I'm witnessing, and if there maybe was toxicity in the relationship that they brought like early in the relationship, it's something that they've worked to, you know, worked on, right? They worked to heal that. And I think it's just so beautiful. It's so transformative. And again, it's like, it is just my greatest privilege to get to witness that and to get to see that from year to year. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
I get to marry some cool people. I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
it sounds
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
So, Dani, thanks so much again for joining us. If couples were interested in reaching out to you, where can they find you?
Oh, they can find us at onceuponabow.com, on Instagram at onceuponabow, and they can call me, email me, you know.
If you
Um,
need her, call her.
yes, no matter where you are. Jason.
So both. He's like, no.
I'm gonna continue it. Continue it.
Thank you so much, Dani. We appreciate you, and we look forward to chatting with you again sometime soon.
It was a
Oh
pleasure,
my God, this is a
Dani.
blast. Thank you so much. Thank you both for having me. I really appreciate it. I love speaking to you too.
Thank you so much. It's great speaking to you too. Okay, bye
Bye.
bye.